Hey guys, my name is Erica. Today I'm going to be doing the Thanksgiving dinner book tag. I love Thanksgiving. I love seeing what other people are bringing to the table when they make Thanksgiving dinner and everything, and we always just have it with our immediate family in our household, so that's pretty much the only food that I know. So I created this tag last year and I never got to film it. So this tag is based off of the food that my mom makes for Thanksgiving. Well, my mom and my sisters. I don't really help cook. I wanted to make a book tag based from it just because I thought it might be kind of fun. And yeah, so I hope that you guys are having a safe holiday, and let's just get right into it. So for this tag, I took the food that my family makes for Thanksgiving and then used it to base a book off of, if that makes sense. So we are just gonna get started, and hopefully you like this tag. I thought it was kind of clever and pretty fun. Oh, sorry, I have to read it from my phone. I don't have it memorized. Cranberry sauce, a book you can't seem to get into despite how good it sounds. So my family doesn't actually make cranberry sauce, but I thought it'd be a good addition because I know other people enjoy it, but I have only had cranberry sauce like maybe once or twice. I love craisins, but I cannot do cranberry sauce. It's so gross and I just hate it. Like, it sounds like it'd be good, but it's just kind of like lit. Alright, so for this one I'm going to be choosing Pride and Prejudice. I've been trying to get into this book. I've tried starting it like probably 5-6 times now in my life, and I actually recently just started reading it. I was going to read it for, what is it? I was going to read it for the reading rush, but I ended up not reading it. I started it and I keep wanting to read it because my sister said if I finally read it, we can watch the movie again together. I mean, I can just watch the movie on my own, but I just really want to watch it. Like, I can't until I finally read the book. I mean, I've seen the movie, but anyway, no matter what, I just can't seem to get into the book. Like, I don't know why. Like, classics just are really hard for me to get into. And I always hear people raving about Pride and Prejudice, like how good the writing is and everything, and the characters, and just like the dialogue. But I just get so bored while I'm trying to read it. Like, it's so slow. I just can't get into the writing style. So I'm having a really hard time. That one is just like, it sounds so good. I just can't seem to get into it. But hopefully one day I'll actually read it and enjoy it. Maybe. Alright, the next one is Green Bean Casserole. A book you weren't expecting to like. Okay, for this one I'm gonna go with The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. Okay, I know this is the Queen of Nothing, but this is the only one I own in that series. But I had been putting off this series for a very long time, and that's kind of what I was doing with Green Bean Casserole. Like, you're required to eat your greens during Thanksgiving, and Green Bean Casserole is something that my family always really liked, but it took me years to finally actually eat green bean casserole. I always thought it just looked really gross, and I just never thought I'd like it, but now I eat it. It's not like my favorite, but I eat it and I actually do enjoy it. And that's kind of how I felt like with The Cruel Prince. I avoided that book for so long because I always thought Holly Black was kind of overrated, and I wasn't really a fan of her version of fairies, I feel like. I mean, I had never really read any of her books, so I just kind of like had that judgment, even though I shouldn't have. But then I read The Cruel Prince, and even though I wasn't like that enamored by it, I did actually really enjoy it, but I ended up liking The Wicked King and The Queen of Nothing a lot more, and I do really love this series. It's not like my most favorite thing in the world. It really took me by surprise, and it was really enjoyable for me, and it's short too, which was nice. So it's like green bean casserole because I only eat a little bit, but it's still really good. Alright, the next one we have is 7-layered salad. 7-layered salad is something that my mom makes. I don't know where she got the recipe from, probably from my grandma, but it is so good. It's literally just salad, but it's like 7 layers of yummy goodness because it has like peas and like bacon and cheese and dressing and all this other stuff in it, obviously 7 layers, and it's so good. It's probably one of my favorite parts about Thanksgiving. The unfortunate thing with 7-layer salad is that you have to pretty much finish it in like the day of Thanksgiving. My mom makes a huge container full, and leftovers just don't taste as good. Like, you just get kind of like grossed out after a while because of the dressing. So you have to finish it at least within like the 24 hours of Thanksgiving, or else it just doesn't taste as good anymore. Alright, 7-layer salad. A series that has a lot of layers built into it. So I don't know if that like made sense, but for that one I went with the Shadowhunter series, the Mortal Instruments and Infernal Devices, Dark Artifices, all of those. But that series, there's just so much that goes into it, and sometimes I feel like Cassandra Clare like interwove it really well, then other times I'm like, you know what, if I went back and like tried to gather all the pieces and like the threads that she has like made into each series, would it all connect and like make a perfect like thing? I'm not really sure, but I'm sure there's somebody out there who is obsessed with her books and who has gone back and been like, this is accurate, this isn't accurate, who like picks the pieces. I just read it for enjoyment. I love that there's so many layers to the Shadowhunter world, and I love that she always goes back to it. Everyone gets annoyed because she needs to just write something else, but it's a really strong world, and I love all the characters for the most part, and I just really love the series, and I like that there's so many pieces to it and that it just keeps going and I never get tired of it. Like, honestly, her books have really helped me get into reading, because I mean, I started reading them when I was pretty young, and so they've kind of grown up as I've grown up, so I always appreciate her writing for that. And there's just so much into that series, kind of like 7-layered salad, so it's perfect. The next one I have is Stuffing, a book that leaves you feeling completely fulfilled. My mom's stuffing is the best I've ever had. I was always so scared to eat her stuffing for some reason, because it looks different than the kind she usually bought, but it is so good. Stuffing usually makes me feel like really gross and bloated, and I remember feeling so sick after eating it one year at someone else's house. So my mom's is like pretty much the only stuffing I really enjoyed. Anyway, so the book I'm going to choose for this one is The Prayer of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. This one left me very fulfilled. I had no issues with this book, honestly, and after it ended, I never felt like I was left needing, I mean, I want more from this series, but I never felt like I was left with, like, not having enough. Like, I love this book so much, and I cannot wait to get more from this world. But this book always left me feeling fulfilled. Everything about it is just so beautifully done, and the characters and their relationship and the world building, like, everything is just so good, and the ending, it just makes you happy. Like, there's nothing that makes you regret reading it. It doesn't make you feel like you didn't get enough. I mean, like I said, I want more from this. I know she's writing more. I'm so excited, but this one definitely has been the most fulfilling book I've read so far this year. Plus, it's really long, so there's just so much to get out of it. I never felt dissatisfied with this book, and it always just made me really happy, so I felt like I also just went through a lot of emotions while reading it. It was a very vibrant and exciting world, and it just makes me so happy. So definitely this one is the most fulfilling book and perfect for stuffing. Alright, the next one is Gravy, a book that added flavor to your life. So I actually always avoided having gravy for the longest time. Like, I don't really like dressings and stuff on my food. I won't eat my fries with ketchup. I don't really like maple syrup. Like, I'll eat it, but it's not like I like need it, if that makes sense. So I've always been the same with gravy. I never really needed it, and I just thought it was kind of pointless. But my mom's gravy, like her stuffing, is the best. It's the only gravy I'm gonna use on anything because it's perfect. So it adds so much flavor to the stuffing and the turkey, because turkey can be kind of boring. But the book I'm going to be choosing for this one is The Stars and the Blackness Between Them. This book I did not know I needed in my life until I read it. Stars and the Blackness Between Them was written so beautifully. It's such a great perspective, and I love the language and the characters and just their relationship that they create with one another. It's also a sapphic romance, which is just beautifully done, and it kind of has this magical realism to it. There's like these aspects of magic in there with these dreams, and it's just so beautifully written, and it just really hits you in the feels. I did not know I needed that book, and it added a lot of color and life to my reading, and I just really enjoyed it, and I highly recommend it if you have not picked it up. Next is the turkey, which is one of the most important parts, but it's also not the most exciting part about Thanksgiving. But that is a book that you cannot go without. Basically a staple book, or a book that you think everyone should read. For this one, I'm gonna go with The Lord of the Rings. I really think that The Lord of the Rings should be a book kids just naturally have to grow up reading. Like, I feel like it should be required in school. It teaches you relationships and world building and just like character dynamic and whatnot. Languages, it teaches you language and just being open to other people. It's very dark. I mean, I feel like it's be more of like a junior high reading or high school reading if you had to be required to read it, but that one I just feel like you should read, and it just adds a lot to your reading experience and to your perspective on the world, and it's good as a creative writer and things like that. So yeah, I just think it should be read more often. Next we have The Dinner Roll, a book that you could read over and over again no matter what mood you're in. Okay, so there's a lot of books that I feel like I could read over and over again, and also that's like a thing with dinner rolls. Like, bread in general, I could just eat it all the time. Like, I always want more rolls. They're like such a simple thing, but one of the best parts about having Thanksgiving dinner and just like dinner in general, because you can just keep grabbing rolls. Like, I mean, have you tried the ones at Texas Roadhouse? So good. Okay, anyway, for this one I'm going to be choosing The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. This book I've actually only read twice. It's for sure one that I think I could read over and over again no matter what. I don't really get bored of it. It's such a beautiful story. Every time I read it, it still feels like new. I'm currently rereading Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom, so that is also one that I could put in here. But this book means the world to me, and I just love it. And it's pretty short too, and it just moves really quickly in the way it's written. So this one is for sure one I could read over and over because I just love devouring it. Just like dinner rolls. Why am I like this? The last one is our dessert. So, fun fact, my sisters make some bomb pumpkin bars. They also make really good pumpkin pie, which is what this question is going to be about. But pumpkin bars are way better than pumpkin pie. I mean, you can at me. There's cream cheese frosting. They're like this thick. They're just so good. They're the best part about Thanksgiving. You have pumpkin pie and pumpkin bars, and it's just the best. Alright, moving on to the tag, pumpkin pie. A warm, cozy, guilty pleasure, or just a sweet read. This one I'm going to be choosing the Falling in Love montage. This book is so good. It's definitely not a guilty pleasure. It's very sweet. It's really sad, but I think it'd be the perfect book to read after you're stuffed full of pumpkin pie, after your yummy Thanksgiving dinner, just sitting up, curled up on the couch with a blanket, reading a book because you're so full. And I always love reading after we eat Thanksgiving food. It's fun to just hang out with my sisters and read a book. That's actually how I got into reading the Pendragon series. Fun fact was that it was Thanksgiving Day. I was full and very stuffed and was like, what can I do to like kill some time? And I read that book, and yeah. Anyway, but I feel like the Falling in Love montage is just such a sweet, warm read. It's really perfect for when you just want to curl up with the book and be happy, and also a little sad because it's very emotional, but it's so good, so definitely that one. Alright everybody, that is it for this tag. I hope you enjoyed it. I had so much fun making this tag, and if you want to be tagged, go ahead and do it. Just make sure you use me as the original source. That is all I have for you guys today. If you like this video, be sure to give it a nice little thumbs up. If you want to keep following me on this booktube journey, please subscribe to my channel. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at ErikaAGobble. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you soon with another video. Bye!